as the waist on the jeans are going up, the fitting gets a little bit more complicated. I've been receiving a lot of questions about how to approach certain take-in, so I want to make a whole playlist with different approaches to take-in waist. So in today's video, we are going to start by taking waist at the sides. So let's go! These are my customer jeans. This is one of the cases where my customer has a guitar-like body and those jeans are very high-waisted. I'm gonna mark those pins so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm marking the pins outside, but you know that the most important is to mark it inside of the pants. As you can see, the amount I have to take at each side is a lot. So you know that always taking from the center back is a little bit easier, but if I needed to take at the center back, would have been so much that the curve at the back would have been too pointy and it wouldn't sit well on my customer body. I'm gonna start by removing the loops. For removing the loop, you know, I chafe the thread a little bit until it's easy to pop it out. I'm gonna put a pin at the center of the waistband just for you to see better what I'm doing with the sides. So if I measure the sides, one of those sides measure 2 inches and the other measure 1 inch and 3/4. So in total, I need to remove 3 inches and 3/4 from this waist. So pretty much half of the 3 inches and 3/4 will be 1 inch and 7/8. And as you can see, 1 inch and 7/8, if I put it like it's a lot, but I can take in a little bit from the front, just a little bit because the pocket is just right there. And then probably I can take the rest around 1.5 inches from the back. But still, you know, I'm a little scared because I cannot go down too much. So if I measure how much I need to take and put it from the sides, as you can see, I don't know, probably I can do it, but it seems a little bit risky. Let me go and finish removing those belt loops and opening the waistband to see how can I do that job. I'm gonna start by opening the waistband, and this opening is so easy because I have the chain stitch. Yeah! With the chain stitch, you just break the stitch and then pull it. That's it. But the least favorite seam for me to open is that seam at the side. This top stitch is just so difficult, so tight. Sometimes you have to go probably stitch by stitch. You really have to invest yourself with a lot of patience. But after you remove that stitch, you then can go and remove the rest, which is pretty much the serger that for me is very easy, the serger, and then another chain stitch, so not that bad. I'm gonna do exactly the same at the other side. And please let me know in the comments if you have a better way to open those side seams, please. So I have my seams open, and now that they are open, I can see that probably won't be possible to go ahead with my first plan of taking 1.5 inches from the waist at each side. It's probably just too much. So in that case, I will have to add as well 2 darts. So if I'm going to add the darts, I'm gonna have to open the waistband a little bit more, and when it's like that, I just prefer to go and open the whole waistband and taking in the waistband at the center back. So I'm gonna mark the center of my waistband before I pull it out, so I will have a perfect reference when I need to take in the waistband. And I'm gonna pull out the thread so I can reserve it, and then I'm gonna cut the waistband so I can work in a more comfortable way. So let's put the pant inside out and do our plan in a better way. As you can see, there is no one way for sewing. It's like a formula that you can make it in a different way. I like to mark the darts at the center of the pockets. So pretty much I found the center and then I'm going from the bottom center and I make one line that will be the center of my darts. I'm gonna mark my two centers, and before I know what will be the width, what I'm gonna do is to mark the amount of material I pin. I'm gonna mark it at the sides in each side. I'm gonna use better the blue pen so we don't have to get confused with those lines. And I know that I have to take in 3 inches and 3/4. So hear me out. If I divide these 3 inches and 3/4 by 2, I will have 1 inch and 7/8 that I have to take in each side. So I said before that I will take 3/8 at the front. So I will have 1.5 inches for the back. So pretty much I think I can take 1 inch at the waist, at the sides, and then the other 1/2 inch I can do it at the darts, which will be a pretty beautiful darts, I'd say. You don't want to make that dart too deep because then you are in the same problem that you will have too much. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna make sure that the marks that I'm making at the sides as well, you can see it at the other side, and I'm gonna cut the excess of material in order to serge. I don't need to leave more than 3/4 inch because I have two sides and the darts for any further alterations. And be very careful with the rivet, and if you can, just avoid to go with your machine there, honestly. As I said before, I do not have really good thread today, but I will see what happens. Because the seam allowance at the front and at the back are different, you have to make sure to put together the two seams that you mark. This is why I make sure when I was marking to mark both sides of each piece. And then I'm gonna sew again. You have to be careful with the rivet. You know that my machine is a horse, but if I were you, I would rather use a zipper foot and sew perfectly around there. So I see now that it's all good. And remember what I said, not what I do. And here you go. I think it looks really good. Now is the time to do those darts. And finally, I can take in the waistband. For that, I'm gonna open the upper part of the waistband that I didn't do at the beginning. And I'm gonna make sure that I'm open enough so I can take in. So remember, 1 inch and 7/8 will make the 3 inches and 3/4 in each side. Make sure to take the top with the top and the lining with the lining. And it's very important when you are sewing this back to make sure to align the little holes that it has at the beginning. If you take in a lot, probably you won't be able to align it perfectly just because the waistband is not sewn as regular as we can think. But at least try your best to match the best you can. Anyways, the loop will be on top, but it's a matter of alignment. I have my 2 pieces sewn, so I'm going to the ironing board and I'm going to iron and cut the excess of material. In that case, I'm leaving 1 inch for seam allowance and for redo, but probably 1 inch might be a little bulky, but I always leave that much because if my customer says, oh no, you took in too much, I can safely give them at least 1.5 inches extra. So, you don't want to ruin anybody's jeans. If you find that it's too much of the seam allowance, you can fold it inside a little bit like that in a triangle shape, or you can just fold it in the normal way. It doesn't matter. Make sure that they are really, really crisp and you can just sew them back all together. I sew the top part, but for the bottom part, I reserved the piece of thread that I took from the waistband and I'm ironing it. You don't really need to iron it. Sometimes it's even probably better, look more nicer, but sometimes it's just easier when you have it ironed. I just put it in the thread and thread my machine with this, and I'm gonna sew back the waistband. And look at my fingers when I'm sewing back this waistband. I'm really holding very tightly this waistband because I want to make sure that the lining of the waistband doesn't move so I can catch it when I'm sewing. You have to take a look and see it from time to time to see that you are doing the right job, and probably will be easier if you pin it before sewing it. I don't know, I do that so often that I don't pin it, but I think it's way better if you pin it. So I finished, and now I'm just make sure that I sew the waistband as well, and everything is all done. So it's the time to sew back those loops. In that case, remember, use your hammer, go by hand. The trick of the button is very good, and for the side of the belt loops, just make sure to put it in the same spot at both sides. And here you go, this is my pants. Now it's all done, and as you can see, the waist is very small, but it looks really good. Look at the side, it's all nice. You can see that the waist is small. You can compare the before and after. Is oh wow, what a difference. I want you to notice that the darts are pretty imperceptible, and that using the original thread is a really nice touch that, it's not like the customer appreciated, but the fact that she see it the same way is nice for her. Please let me know in the comment that I'm not the only one that sometimes reuse the original thread. And if you find this video useful, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!